Storytelling and Music with Sonia Aimy. Way back in ancient times, thousands and thousands of years ago, among the African people, storytellers, popularly known as griots, are highly valued members of the community. Also referred to as the keepers of records, they are critical in the preservation, transmission, and articulation of cultural wisdom and the people's history and philosophical concepts. Through storytelling, people and societies around the world learn, develop the codes of behavior, and formulate meaning-making in their lives. Storytelling motivates learners as well as help them access, express, and retain information and knowledge. Stories are to a certain extent the mirror of life. They reflect what people do, what they think, how they live, and how they have lived, their values, their joys, and their sorrows. Stories are also a means of articulating a human response to its environment. To date, storytellers remain dominant mediators for communicating the people's cultural, social, and spiritual traditions. They are teachers, advisors, healers, and they are also entertainers. Welcome to African Storytelling and Music with Sonia Aimy. The twin brother are being featured on this episode. A woman from a small town, after prolonged labor, gave birth to twin sons, and each one was born into the world with a valuable charm. One of the sons was called Luemba, the other Mavungu, and they were almost fully grown at their birth, so that Mavungu, the firstborn, wished to start upon his travels. Now, about this time, a beautiful girl called Nzambi was ready for marriage in a nearby town. Many young men, one after the other, asked Nzambi in marriage, but she refused them all, saying that she did not love them. They were all very, very sad. Mavungu heard of this girl, how she turned down so many young men and determined to marry her. He called upon his charm and asked it to help him. Then he took some grass in his hands and changed one blade of grass into a rose flower, another into a scented oil, another into a face powder, and so on until he was quite ready for the long journey. He set out and traveled until at last hunger overcame him. Oh, charm, is it true that you will not allow me to starve? The charm hastened to place a sumptuous feast before him, and Mavungu ate to his satisfaction. Mavungu then traveled until sleep overwhelmed him. Oh, charm, is it true that you will arrange a place where I might sleep? And the charm saw to his comfort, so that he passed a very peaceful night. After so many days weary traveling, he finally arrived at Nzambi's town. And as soon as Nzambi saw Mavungu, she knew he was the guy, her soulmate, her sweetie banana, her unkemo amore mio bellissimo. She ran to her mother and father and cried, I have seen the man I love. I have seen the man I love. I and no one shall stop me from marrying him. Then Mavungu sought out Nzambi's parents and told them he had come to marry their daughter. Go and see her first, and if she will have you, then you may marry her. When Mavungu and Nzambi saw each other, they ran toward each other and loved one another. They were led to a beautiful house, while all the people in the town danced and sang for gladness. Mavungu, Mavungu, Mavungu Nzambi, Mavungu Nzambi, Mavungu Nzambi, Nzambi baby, today na your day, Nzambi baby, today na your day, Nzambi baby, oh. It was a beautiful celebration. Mavungu and Nzambi slept in this very beautiful house. And in the morning, Mavungu noticed that the whole house was crowded with mirrors, but each mirror was covered so that he could not see them. He asked Nzambi to uncover them so that he might see himself in them. She took him to one and opened it, and Mavungu immediately saw the perfect likeness of his own town. She took him to another, and there he saw another town he knew. And she took him to all the mirrors but saved one, and this one she refused to let him see. "Why will you not let me look into that mirror?" asked Mavungu. "Because that is the town from which no man who wanders there ever returns." "Do let me see." At last, Nzambi gave up. He looked hard at the reflected image of that terrible place. "I must go there. I must see that terrible place. I must go there." "No, you will never return. Please don't go. Don't go, my love. You will never return, please." "Have no fear. Have no fear, my love. Don't worry. My charm will protect me. Trust me." Nzambi cried very much, but could not move Mavungu from his purpose. Mavungu then left his newly married wife, mounted his horse, and set off for the town from where no man returns. He traveled and traveled until at last he came near to the town. He met an old woman and asked her for a fire to lit his pipe. "Okay, but before I give you the fire, you must tie up your horse very, very, very tight. Then you shall come to fetch the light." Mavungu descended, and having tied his horse up very securely, he went to the old woman for the fire. And when he had come near her, she captured him and kept him in a cage so that he would never return to his hometown. After a long absence, Luemba wondered of his brother and determined to set out to locate him. He took some grass and with the aid of his charm changed one blade into a knife, another into a tiny rope, and so on until he was fully prepared for his journey. Then he set out, and after some days' journey, he arrived at Nzambi's town. Nzambi rushed out to meet him and calling him, "Mavungu, Mavungu, my love, Mavungu, my love. Oh, Mavungu is back," and embraced him. "No, my name is not Mavungu. I'm his brother, Luemba." "How do you mean, Mavungu? You are my husband, Mavungu, you are my husband." And immediately a great feast was prepared. Nzambi danced for joy and would not hear of not being Mavungu. "Oh, Mavungu, 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 eh, Mavungu. troubled and did not know what to do, as he was not sure that Nzambi was Mavungu's wife. When night came, Nzambi would sleep in Luemba's house, but he appealed to his charm, and it enclosed Nzambi in a separate room for the night, bringing her back in the early morning. In the morning, Luemba's curiosity was aroused by the many mirrors that hung on the walls, so he asked Nzambi to let him look into them. She showed him all except one, and this, she told him, was the one that reflected a town where no man ever returns. Luemba insisted on looking into this one, and when he had seen the terrible picture, he knew that his brother was there, trapped. Luemba determined to leave for the town of no return. He thanked them all for the warm reception and set out. They wept, but were consoled by the fact that he had been there before and returned safely. So he could, of course, return a second time. Luemba traveled and traveled until he also came to the place where the old woman was standing, and he asked her for fire. She told him to tie up his horse, but he tied his horse up only very, very lightly, and then fell upon the old woman and killed her. He then freed his brother and the hundreds of people that were caged by the old woman. He touched them with his charm for them to gain strength, and they set off with all their followers to Nzambi's town. Luemba told Mavungu how he had saved his wife from dishonor. So Mavungu thanked him and gave him a warm hug. Love you, bro. Mavungu then went on his way to Nzambi's town and was splendidly welcomed. When the town heard the story, they all praised Luemba for his efforts and braveness. Children, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of this episode featuring Nzambi, Mavungu, and Luemba as our main characters. Most importantly, I believe we have learned about the importance of braveness and that we all have a special charm, no matter how small or little it is. Only you have to discover your charm right within you, in your inner self. That charm to create beautiful things that will make you happy, that will make you live a better life in a better world. No amount of charm is too small. It is the positive action of it that matters. So, my friends, do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Click the button below, okay? Subscribe to my channel and follow me on social media. Instagram at Sonia Aimy, Twitter at Sonia Aimy, Facebook at Sonia Aimy -fan. And please purchase my music. You have this track, Share, and many other tracks, okay, on Spotify, on Google Play, Deezer, okay? From African Story